He was an ambitious young man who'd found his perfect match.
Hey. They both wanted to do big things in life.
They were very serious and devoted.
My brother loved her. That was his girl.
But their love story will have a tragic end.
There were multiple people calling because there was an active shooter.
People were running scared.
He's laying on the floor, bleeding out.
It was just unbelievable that he was shot.
Hey, buddy, can you hear me?
It was just something that you couldn't grasp.
Just came in and walked over to this other guy and shot him.
Was he just another statistic?
Active shooters occur throughout the country.
It's the mindset of people.
People have become numb and desensitized to what violence is.
Or will the truth be even tougher to believe?
Look, truth is,
it's cold, it's calculated, it's intentional.
In essence, she hired an assassin.
He walked to my son and he just shot him.
And basically walked away, like, that's it.
Come out with your hands up.
September 4th, 2017. It's Labor Day in Prince George County, Virginia, a quiet rural community just south of Richmond.
It's about family. It's about enjoying the weather and just getting together and enjoying having that day off with family and friends.
Although that afternoon, the truck stop off Highway 460 is bustling with activity.
This is where folks stop in and get gas and get something to eat real quick because people use this as a back road to go to Virginia Beach.
But for the patrons at this roadside stop, their relaxing holiday is about to take a horrific turn.
At approximately 4 p.m., Prince George County 911 received a flurry of frightened calls.
They were flooding the 911 line.
And they were all reporting the same thing.
There was an active shooter call at the Pilot gas station.
Within minutes, multiple units converge on the scene and are directed to the fast food restaurant connected to the gas station.
when the police arrive, you're worried about where the shooter might be located or if the scene is still active.
But the shooter has fled, leaving chaos in their wake.
They see people behind the counter terrified just based on what just taking place.
They had all witnessed the shooting of a young man.
He's laying on the floor. He's bleeding out.
He had been shot multiple times.
According to the student ID that was found in his wallet, his name was Karan Bond.
"20-year-old Karan Bond grew up in the tough streets of Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond is one of those places to where it's always fighting for the top spot as the murder capital.
So many murders, so many drugs, so much crime. It's not so good.
It was the hood for the most part. Craziness happened, but still a lot of good people around.
Karan's family was among the best.
Karan came from a close-knit family.
Karan is a mama's boy. He just loved his mom and his dad. And he had a special relationship with each one of his siblings.
Everybody just loved him. He was the baby boy, so you know how that goes.
He was the youngest of 5. And spoiled rotten, I couldn't imagine a tighter group.
Raised under the watchful eye of older siblings, Karan stayed out of trouble.
When you grow up poor, you see everybody else getting money, but they getting it the wrong way, and you see where they ending up. We wouldn't allow our little brothers to do that. Like, me and my sister stayed on them. We stayed on our brothers, make sure they get best grades, not get in trouble in school.
Man, y'all boys crazy, man.
Not that it was hard to keep Karan on track.
Karan was absolutely a go-getter.
Karan was focused on the books.
He knew that having an education was going to be something that was going to aid him in whatever way he wanted to go.
Graduated in top of his class.
After high school, Karan moved on to Virginia State University.
Virginia State University, it is one of the United States' first accredited HBCUs.
He really wanted to go to an HBCU and represent as a young Black man. He wanted to have that degree.
I was proud of my brother. I was happy for him to start college.
Karan continued to excel at Virginia State.
He was just adamant about making sure that he put his best work forward.
And though only a sophomore, he already had a vision for his future.
His major was business.
He always had entrepreneur dreams. He wasn't gonna be somebody who worked for someone else very long.
His catchphrases was, "I just want to be great," and he meant that.
Not that Karan was all work and no play.
He was the life of the party.
He could put a smile on anybody. He can make anybody laugh. Easygoing and fun lover is how I describe him.
And when it came to women, Karan was a hit.
Oh, what's up?
As far as the ladies, Lord, we don't want to talk about that because we'll be here till next year.
He was a natural dancer. If it was any kind of trending dance, he was on it.
He's the cutest thing. He had this big old smile. He was always dressed really nice, and he was smart. He was pretty much everything that any young girl at that age would have wanted, and it showed.
He had a lot of prospects.
But after Karan met a fellow student named Kia March, he became a one-woman man.
Nice. You're in my econ class, right?
Yeah, I'm a business major.
Really? Me too.
They both wanted to do big things in life.
My brother loved her. I know he loved her a whole lot.
They were very serious and devoted. He definitely seemed happy.
But now, someone has shot Karan multiple times in the midst of a crowded restaurant.
It's Labor Day, it's a small community, and there's a shooting that happens in the midst of what should be a celebratory holiday.
After the police arrived, secured the scene, and made sure that the shooter wasn't there.
Hey, buddy, can you hear me?
The next step was to get him to the hospital as quickly as possible.
While EMTs raced to save Karan, the police try to piece together what happened.
There were plenty of people at the truck stop who witnessed the shooting.
The restaurant side was busy, the gas station side was busy, a lot of people in and out.
He had on a black hoodie tie.
Several of them told police the same story.
All he did was walk up and pull a gun and say,
I heard you got a problem with my sister.
"20-year-old Karan Bond, a sophomore at Virginia State University, had met his match in an ambitious co-ed named Kia March.
They were college sweethearts.
These two had a bright future together.
But now, Karan is being rushed to the nearest trauma center after being gunned down in broad daylight.
The shooting occurred in the middle of a busy truck stop on Labor Day afternoon.
To pull up with a gun in a restaurant full of people on the holidays and shoot somebody, it was crazy.
It was unreal because nothing happens in Prince George County.
When detectives arrive and begin talking to the customers who witnessed the shooting,
Gotcha.
the scenario they describe sounds like a hit.
Karan was sitting at a table. He was sitting alone on his phone and his back was towards the counter.
This guy just came in the door on the far side of the restaurant, and I really couldn't even see his face.
The description of the shooter was that he came in with a hoodie that was closely tied around his face.
Witnesses say they were immediately suspicious as the shooter walked into the restaurant.
Who wears a hoodie tied like that?
It seems to me that he was trying his best not to be identified.
According to the witnesses, he went straight for Karan, pulling the gun as he approached.
He just came in and walked over to this other guy and shot him.
After Karan is shot, he gets up and he tries to flee the scene.
But he didn't get far.
The gunman fires another shot and shoots Karan in the back.
Hit a second time, Karan fell to the floor.
Then the person in the black hoodie fled the scene.
He actually fled through the front door where he got into a vehicle and he immediately sped away.
Witnesses are saying, well, he went right up to this guy. You could tell that is a premeditated, it's cold, it's calculated, it's intentional.
Did you hear anything? Did he say anything?
Yeah, he was saying something sort of, I heard you had a problem with my sister.
Heard you got a problem with my sister.
That's a very vital piece of information.
To detectives, it sounds like the shooting stemmed from some sort of personal dispute.
We're gonna go check this out.
At that point, detectives, of course, wanted to figure out who was the sister in question.
Questioning employees of the restaurant raises one possibility.
Apparently the victim's girlfriend works here.
The authorities find out that Karan's girlfriend was actually an employee.
So it wasn't uncommon for him to drop her off at work. It wasn't uncommon for him to hang around a little bit before she started her shift.
Was she working today?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Kia. Kia March.
Kia March.
Could Kia be the sister that the gunman mentioned?
Do you know if they've had any issues up to today?
I don't think so.
He was there actually just dropping her off for her to start her shift.
Where can I find Kia?
I think she's in the back. She's really shook up.
However, before the detectives can talk to Kia, there's a commotion outside the restaurant.
Ma'am, please! That's my baby in there. My daughter had just called me, Mom, Karan been shot. By the time I got there, they would not let me get in.
Drawn by the noise, the detectives pull Karan's mother aside and inform her that Karan has been rushed to the hospital.
Karan was med-flighted to VCU Medical Center, which is in Richmond.
However, that's not the only news that the detectives have for Karan's mother.
Karan didn't make it to the hospital.
He is pronounced dead before he even arrives.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry.
It was an unbelievable moment for me. I was in disbelief.
And she has no idea why anyone would want to hurt her son.
He was such a good student. He was well-liked, never got into trouble.
He was a good boy.
I understand.
He never did anything to anybody. He was not that type of kid to be involved in any nonsense, never had a history of anything. This kid wouldn't jaywalk. I couldn't understand.
I just couldn't believe that it could have happened to him.
And the one lead the detectives have appears to be a dead end.
Listen, the shooter said Karan had a problem with his sister. Any idea what this is about?
No.
Ma'am, his girlfriend, Kia, do you know she has a brother?
I don't think so.
Was this a case of mistaken identity?
Sure they're missing something, detectives turn to Kia, who was holed up in the restaurant manager's office.
Kia was an absolute wreck.
She is traumatized. She is in a state of shock.
All right, we're gonna have this officer escort you down to the office, and we'll speak with you there once we're done here, okay?
She was unable to give a statement to the police officers because she was so distraught.
It has to be traumatizing to witness someone die like that.
However, a fellow employee who has been trying to comfort Kia does have some information for the detectives.
A couple of our coworkers left right after the shooting.
They were LaShawna Jacobs and Norma Glover.
At this point, nobody knows if they're fleeing because they're scared or if they were a part of the incident.
Fast food restaurants are frequent sites for violence. In 2021, a study of 911 call logs in 9 California cities cataloged more than 77,000 reports of violent or threatening incidents across just 4 fast food chains between 2017 and 2020. 911 calls from one fast food restaurant in Santa Monica became so frequent that the city ultimately ordered it shut down. Detectives investigating the murder of Karan Bond inside a rural Virginia fast food restaurant have learned that 2 restaurant employees fled the scene of the shooting.
They need to find out what they know and what they saw.
The 2 employees that fled the scene may have the missing pieces to actually what happened to Karan.
Given what just occurred, the fact that they ran from the restaurant isn't all that surprising.
In the chaos, you have many people that fled.
But was it fear of the shooter that caused them to flee? Or was it something else?
This particular witness seen an argument between Karan's girlfriend, Kia, and one of them 2 employees that fled the scene about 45 minutes before the shooting occurred.
That employee was Norma Glover.
Was that just a coincidence? Or was there a connection?
You were just arguing and now you're fleeing the scene after the shooting. It seems kind of sketchy.
At the crime scene, detectives have police issue a statement to the media asking for Norma and the co-worker she fled with, LaShawna Jacobs, to come forward.
They say we need to question Norma and LaShawna in regards to information for the shooting death of Karan.
Then the detectives head down to the station to get a formal statement from Karan's girlfriend, Kia.
She had been in the restaurant and witnessed her boyfriend's murder.
Kia was so traumatized that at that moment couldn't talk to her.
Kia is now calm enough to give her statement.
Although when detectives bring up her coworker, Norma Glover, Kia becomes emotional.
It was all my fault.
Nope, don't blame yourself.
You don't understand.
She explains that the argument with Norma actually started about a week ago.
Kia was the shift manager. She was responsible for the employees and the productivity of that shift.
It was the lunch rush. We were already short-handed.
They were having manpower issues.
She relayed to Norma and to everybody else, hey, I need everybody on that game.
But Norma wasn't a team player.
Norma just walked away, clocked out, and left.
That left Kia without a worker.
Everybody plays a key role, and if somebody drops out, that leaves you in a bind.
Orders backed up, lines got long, and customers complained.
The manager comes down on the shift leader, who is Kia, saying, you got to keep a better eye on your people because we can't have this happening.
Kia explained, I didn't let anybody do anything. She left on her own.
As a result, the manager had words with Norma.
She's reprimanded for her actions.
The manager said, hey, if this happened again, I'm gonna have to let you go.
Kia says that the manager's warning had only enraged Norma.
She also said that Norma had started harassing her.
She'd get up in my face and call me names.
She was in fear of losing her job, but she also labeled Kia as a snitch.
What did you say? You heard me.
It can certainly get volatile in the workplace, and it can get ugly pretty fast.
Kia says her feud with Norma wasn't just ugly, it was scary.
Norma was saying to her that she was going to have someone hurt her.
Which was why Kia had turned to Karan.
You think she'll really do something to hurt you?
I don't know. She's crazy.
Karan, being a supportive, nurturing boyfriend, decides that he wants to assist his girlfriend.
It's fine. I'll stay a little bit longer.
You do that?
I got you.
out of love, he shows up to work with her to offer her that protection.
Kia says that just as she feared, things had gotten heated as soon as Norma showed up for her shift.
She started arguing immediately.
So you better tell the boss that I was on time today.
Hey, I was just doing my job.
Kia and Norma are going back and forth.
It was loud, it was confrontational.
What did you say?
They're screaming at each other.
But according to Kia, Norma had backed off once she spotted Karan in the dining area.
And what's he doing here?
Nothing. He's just waiting on a friend.
He was really there to back up Kia to make sure nothing happened.
Kia says that after the altercation with Norma, she'd gone out to the dining area and spoken to Karan.
She'd asked him to stick around a little longer.
Kia seemed to be scared that something was going to happen.
Karan, being Karan, let Kia know he had her back.
Karan was there just kind of to be there for her.
He wanted to protect Kia and make sure that she was okay.
But as it turned out, it was Karan who needed protecting.
Barely 45 minutes later, the gunman walked through the door.
Heard you got a problem with my sister.
Kia is certain that this has everything to do with the feud that she's had with Norma.
And after a little digging, the detectives think so too.
Norma did have a half-brother.
His name is Julius Moultrie III.
Detectives believe 27-year-old Julius Moultrie may be the mysterious gunman who walked into a rural Virginia truck stop and gunned down Karan Bond.
Julius's half-sister Norma had an issue with Karan's girlfriend, Kia March.
Someone heard the gunman say, "I heard you have a problem with my sister."
That isn't the only thing that points to Julius.
He had a rap sheet 9 or 10 pages long.
But it's one charge in particular that catches the detective's eye.
He had been convicted of actually killing Norma's father, his stepfather.
He did like 3 years on a 15-year sentence.
Moultrie had only been released from jail 9 months prior.
And now the detectives suspect he'd killed again.
Julius killed his stepdad, Norma's father, his half-sister's father. If you're willing to kill somebody that close to you, you definitely can potentially do this to somebody else with no ties.
At that point, there was a manhunt. Locate him and bring him in.
Within a few hours, police traced Julius to his girlfriend's house.
They knew he was in the area just because of what tower his cell phone was bouncing off of.
Officers moved quickly and quietly to surround the house.
The police weren't taking any chances.
Julius Moultrie, come out! Come out of the house! Come on out, keep your hands up!
He surrenders to the Prince George County Police Department.
He was cooperative, and he had no problem going in for questioning.
Once he sits down with detectives, Julius denies any role in Karan's murder.
We know you shot Karan Bond.
Wasn't there. Couldn't have been.
He said that he had been at his girlfriend's house all day.
The girlfriends, huh? We'll see about that.
When detectives checked with his girlfriend, who they'd also brought in for questioning, her story is a bit different.
She actually says that Julius didn't show up to her home until later on that day.
Confronted with the inconsistencies in their stories, Julius changes his.
He then says, "Oh, wait a minute. I was actually at my friend's house in Petersburg."
Did you go anywhere else?
No, sir.
The detectives are all but certain he's lying.
Detectives at this time, they decided to do a gunshot residue test.
It comes back positive. He actually held a gun and he fired it on that day.
The test results are enough for the detectives to place Julius under arrest.
Julius was charged with first-degree murder.
The suspected shooter's arrest is welcome news for Karan's friends and family. But they're shocked to learn he'd recently been released from prison for manslaughter.
He killed someone intentionally and only get 3 years for it.
When we found out, it was a slap in the face. That was extremely frustrated and upset.
But detectives believe the blame for Karan's death doesn't rest solely with Julius.
Basically, Norma and Kia got into it, and she started popping off about how her family and how they was gonna mess her up.
Kia was saying, hey, listen, I'm gonna get my boyfriend involved. He's gonna deal with you.
What detectives wanted to know is if Norma actually instructed her brother to kill him, or if he acted on his own volition.
Since Norma and LaShawna have yet to come forward voluntarily, detectives once again turn to the media.
They are asking anyone who has information on the whereabouts of Norma and LaShawna to give that information to the Prince George's County Police Department.
The request produces several tips regarding Norma and her friend LaShawna's location.
Both of the women taken into custody.
When questioned by detectives, Norma initially denied knowing anything about Karan's murder.
Then why'd you run, Norma?
Because they were shooting up the place.
No.
Glover says they were afraid of getting shot themselves.
Of course, the detectives know different.
Stop lying, okay?
We already arrested Julius.
She figured out that she was caught.
She admits that her brother was actually the killer.
But according to Norma, the detectives have it all wrong.
Norma said, I didn't tell my brother to come in and kill Karan. I didn't tell my brother to come in and shoot anybody.
Truth is, I tried to stop him.
Norma Glover has confirmed that her brother Julius Moultrie is the man that shot and killed Karan Bond at the fast food restaurant where she worked.
I tried to stop him.
She flipped on him and snitched on him.
Which is kind of ironic considering how angry she had been about Kia supposedly snitching on her.
However, Norma denies asking Julius to kill Karan.
Norma insists that she was not the one who called Julius to the scene. She says that she was actually on the phone with her mother.
Look, I was upset, and I was just telling my mama about what had happened. Julius must have overheard.
Oh, okay. So he just took it upon himself to come up there and shoot Karan, right?
Look, I know how it sounds, but y'all don't know Julius.
She described Julius as crazy.
She explains that he just recently, not too long ago, got out of prison.
When he gets upset, there's no telling what he'll do.
Norma says that as soon as she saw Julius pull up outside the restaurant, she knew there would be trouble.
She did visibly see that he was angry.
She said, I tried to stop him. I tried to stop my brother.
I gotta get him. You can't disrespect him.
Norma tells detectives that she tried to calm him down, but he brushed right past her.
Norma says she was still outside when she heard the shots.
All right, Norma, just tell us what happened, okay?
LaShawna came running out, and we ran to my car. And next thing I know, he was there.
He who?
Julius.
Norma says Julius forced her and LaShawn in the car and demanded that they leave the scene.
What you do?
Right.
Norma tells authorities that her brother made her and LaShawna drive him to a nearby relative's home.
Just because Norma was cooperating, that didn't mean that she was as innocent as she claimed.
When police question her coworker, LaShawna Jacobs, she also claims to be an innocent bystander.
Look, I wasn't even supposed to be there. I already clocked out.
Her story is that she stuck around simply because Norma was her ride home.
LaShawna, when the incident was occurring, was on the phone with her boyfriend, who is detained at Riverside Regional Jail.
I'm gonna call you back, okay?
She got off the phone with him to actually calm down the feud between Norma and Kia.
Oh, Norma, let it go.
No, look, she over there running to her boyfriend like I'm scared of him or something.
Norma was spewing out all of these obscenities and all of these threats.
LaShawna was trying everything that she could to calm Norma down. LaShawna said that she even called Norma's mother in hopes that her mother could calm her down.
You called her mom?
Yeah, because she was talking crazy. Come on.
LaShawna was still trying to calm Norma down, but she didn't make any progress.
Norma was actually telling her mother that she was going to get someone to pistol whip Kia.
LaShawna didn't know if that someone was supposed to be Julius.
However, LaShawna says she did see Norma in the parking lot talking to her brother moments before the murder.
She witnessed Norma and Julius having a conversation, and Norma pointing to Karan saying, "That's him right there."
She wasn't trying to stop him.
After this, Julius actually walks into the restaurant and he shoots Karan.
LaShawna says that in the chaos afterwards, she'd found Norma in the parking lot.
She said they were getting in the car when Julius came running up.
He hopped in and they took off.
LaShawna says she was afraid for her life.
Is LaShawna telling the truth? There may be a way for detectives to confirm at least some of her story.
LaShawna was on the phone with her boyfriend, who was incarcerated when the fight was going on.
Jail, the phone calls are recorded.
And when the detectives pull the tape of the call, their contents back up LaShawna's account.
Police were able to hear in the background Norma yelling and screaming.
I know people, okay? I know killers.
I don't cry a lot about Karan. I don't, because before we went to court, Karan came to me in my sleep, and he said, "Mom, he shot me." He showed me where they shot him at and everything. And I just said, "I know, baby," and I just fell out crying. He said, "Mom, just cry, I got you, I'ma always have you." Tell you, when I went to court, when they showed where that boy was shot, it was the exact same place. Y'all don't have to believe me, but that's true. And so I really don't see him in a picture physical, but I feel him in the spirit. So that's why I know he got his wings.
Based on the testimony of LaShawna Jacobs, detectives have been able to confirm via a recorded jail line that Norma Glover was threatening to call a shooter to the restaurant the day Karan Bond was killed.
I know killers.
With that new information, she is charged with first-degree murder.
I just thank God they were arrested so fast. They were arrested before I even made arrangements with the funeral home.
I'm glad that she was arrested because I couldn't understand why, in between an argument with two women, that you would have someone come in with that intent.
I can't say I was relieved that the officers did their due diligence.
When Julius goes on trial in July of 2018, the courtroom is packed.
Julius is the first to go to trial.
However, there is no jury.
Julius opted at this point to have a bench trial.
In a bench trial, it's the judge who determines the verdict.
With all of the evidence that police had, it didn't seem as though Julius had a chance.
Not that the prospect of a short trial and a quick verdict made facing Karan's killer any easier on the family.
He grinned in my face. He stared us down. He was very disrespectful. He was just terrible.
It was aggravating. I wanted to get my hands on him so bad.
Although according to the prosecutors, it was Julius who'd come down to the restaurant looking for blood on the afternoon of the murder.
He'd heard about the fight between Norma and Kia, and that Kia's boyfriend was there.
Julius got the information, worked himself into a rage, just, over the top.
Everybody has, crazy cousins and crazy family members that you know about.
Julius had a violent past. He had recently gotten out of prison for killing his own stepfather.
He already had that tendency to become violent.
But it was his sister who provided the target for his rage.
She pointed to my brother and said, "That's him right there."
He knew exactly who to walk up to, ask the question.
Heard you got a problem with my sister.
And he just shot him.
Brother was trying to turn and run, and he got shot again.
He was not a fighter. He was not a thug. He was not a gangster. He was a college student.
I could imagine that he was terrified.
And my brother just died on the floor.
The prosecutors present plenty of evidence that Julius was Karan's killer.
They had the gunshot residue test that came back positive.
Norma implicated Julius as the person who in fact did this heinous act.
For the judge, it all adds up to a murder conviction.
He found Julius guilty of murder.
The judge sentences Julius to life in prison. And in the state of Virginia, there is no parole for murder convictions.
He'll be spending the rest of his life behind bars.
It's not enough for Karan's family.
He's in prison, but he's still alive. He's still getting 3 hearts in the cot. He probably moving through, functioning. I mean, he was there not too long prior, so I'm pretty sure he was accustomed to being in prison already.
The family was still upset that Julius was out on parole for manslaughter when the murder occurred.
He should have never been released from the first murder he committed.
If he was still in there, my brother would be alive.
When Norma, who also opts for a bench trial, goes before the judge, the prosecutors know that the case against her isn't as cut and dry.
After all, it was Julius that pulled the trigger.
But the prosecution argues the murder never would have happened if Norma hadn't pointed Karan out to her brother.
She knew who her brother was, and she knew how he was. She knew what the heck was gonna happen.
Just because you don't pull the trigger doesn't mean you didn't have anything to do with it.
If Norma wouldn't have pointed out Karan Bond would be here today.
She should be held just as accountable as her brother was for the whole situation. Even though he was a trigger man, she pretty much hired an assassin or a hitman to come kill my brother, because in essence, that's exactly what she did.
Still, the defense insists Norma can't be blamed for the killing.
Norma's defense attorney said that she had no knowledge that her brother was going to commit that murder. She had no knowledge that he was going to come to that restaurant.
She says that she could not control Julius. She says that he was crazy, that he was irate, and that she could not have stopped him even if she wanted to.
Julius was going to act any way that he wanted to regardless.
But when the judge delivers his verdict, he determines that Julius isn't solely responsible for Karan's death.
The judge finds Norma Glover guilty of first-degree murder and sentences her to 48 years in prison.
I wish she had gotten life.
She was the cause of it. None of this would have happened if it weren't for her.
And the friends and family Karan left behind still struggle to understand why it happened at all.
It's extremely frustrating to know that such a sweet kid was murdered in cold blood by someone he didn't know and didn't have any interaction with. It's just mind-boggling.
The reality of today's world is people get so worked up about very minor things. I mean, you're talking about an argument over a shift. Really? We're gonna kill somebody over that?
His life was cut short for nothing.
But he will always be remembered.
If I could talk to him now, I would tell him how much he was missed and how much of an impact he already had. He always told us he just wanted to be great, but that he was already great.
I love my brother and I miss him. Like, I miss him a whole lot. And as long as I'm alive, he will never be forgotten, that's for sure.
In Memphis, Tennessee, a beloved 30-year-old woman captivated everyone with her warm heart, talent, and infectious personality. From a close-knit family, she infuses joy into the lives of all who cross her path. But one day, tragedy strikes suddenly, leaving a community reeling and grappling for answers. What happens when love becomes fatal? This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast with Her Final Fight.
July 21st, 2018. It's nearing midnight in Memphis, Tennessee, one of the South's most iconic cities.
Memphis is a majority black city with a certain kind of flavor, a certain kind of style.
We have our blues, we have our hip hop, and we just have a love for one another.
The people here are nice and friendly. Southern hospitality does mean something here.
But tonight, the city's harmony is broken when gunshots ring out in the North Side neighborhood of Frazier.
Memphis Dispatch started getting multiple calls about shots being fired in the area.
Frazier is not far from downtown.
Memphis police race to the scene where they find a man lying unconscious in the middle of the road.
They approach him and they realize he has been shot several times.
As a second officer approaches, they make another shocking discovery.
They found a woman who'd also been shot. Do you know who she is? Okay.
The woman identifies the second victim as Natasha Gibbs.
She is laying there on the ground with her life seeping away from her.
Someone had shot her in her head.
It just didn't make sense.
A native of Memphis, Tennessee, 30-year-old Natasha Gibbs always put her family first.
We've come from a big family. It's 10 of us. And with cousins, my grandmother kids, it's like all of us as one.
We always grew up around each other all the time. We would always be there together.
And Natasha always knew how to keep her family smiling.
You could be down and out. She gonna say something to make you laugh. She was a very, very, very funny person. She always spoke to her mind.
She always cracking jokes. She's gonna brighten your day up. This is who she was.
She was young, but she had an older spirit. She was just the big mama in the family. All Tasha's sisters and brothers, when they get mad or they don't have anywhere to go, Tasha's house is the house.
Whoever come over, she gonna make sure that you good. But she just loved to help, doing your hair or cooking for you or telling you jokes. That's her way to connect with you.
She loved doing hair. She beat like, y'all come on, I'm gonna go and do your hair.
She'd braid your hair, and she was really, really good at it.
So much so that she turned it into a career.
She got a job at a local beauty shop and quickly grew her client base.
It was just something that she just enjoyed doing.
But as much time as Natasha spent on other people, she didn't want to neglect her own future.
Coming from a large family, she always knew she wanted a family of her own.
Family meant a whole lot to her, whole lot.
Yet the person she chose to do it with came as a surprise.
Tasha?
Marquise.
Wow, I can't believe it's you.
His name was Marquise Gibbs.
We all grew up together.
Distantly related through marriage, Marquise and Natasha had known each other since they were young.
We were just like family.
There was no blood relation, just a strong family connection.
8 years her senior, Marquise had left town when Natasha was still in grade school.
You done grown up since the last time I seen you.
Can't be a baby forever.
Yeah, that's true.
The two immediately felt a connection.
He was handsome and charming.
He was a good guy.
And as for Marquise, he admired Natasha's resilience.
She's a very strong person.
When Natasha wanted something, nothing can hold her back.
So, could I take you out sometime?
Yeah, sure. I like that.
How about Saturday?
Okay.
It's a date then. You see?
And it didn't take long for the couple to become serious.
She loved it. She wanted to marry this guy.
She literally made sure that he saw the love that he probably never experienced before. She was trying to build a home for them.
And in March of 2015, Natasha and Marquise decided to take the next step.
She told me that she was going to get married. She was thinking about it, but she never said it was official. Then they went to the courthouse and got married.
They was looking forward to starting a family together.
But instead of enjoying a blissful honeymoon, the newlyweds were forced to confront a tragedy.
One of Natasha's older sisters was killed unexpectedly.
She died in a car accident. 18-wheeler hit him from behind.
She left behind 2 young boys, and Natasha was determined to do whatever she could to help.
She took in her sister's kids. She didn't hesitate. She did what needed to be done to make sure that they weren't going to be separated.
Although it wasn't how she imagined it, Natasha had the family she'd always wanted.
She made sure they were doing great in school, just gave them a home.
She took good care of them. She made sure they had everything they needed.
But then, tragedy struck the family once again.
A few years later, Natasha lost another sibling, an older brother, to gun violence.
That really tore her up.
And through it all, she was thankful to have a man like Marquise by her side.
She just felt like he was like the best thing that ever happened to her.
He gave her the strength that she needed to carry on.
He was such a good husband.
But now, Natasha has been gunned down outside of her North Memphis home.
Do you know who she is?
This man down in Natasha.
Okay, babe, do you need medical assistance?
No, where's that video?
Okay, I need you to go back inside right now. It's a crime scene. I need you to go back inside the residence.
Natasha and her good friend Iziel Jones had both been shot multiple times.
There was no sign of the shooter at the scene. But Natasha's mother-in-law was inside the home with her 2 nephews, and thankfully, everyone was safe.
As paramedics arrived to continue aid, they realize it may already be too late.
They weren't able to find a pulse.
Both had gunshot wounds to the back of the head.
Natasha had only been shot once, but Iziel had been hit multiple times.
He's been run over by the car.
My daughter was laying on the porch.
My sister, she was dead.
Stay tuned as this tragic story continues to unfold. This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Aging is inevitable, but that doesn't mean you have to give up the activities you enjoy. This holiday season, talk with your family members about ways everyone can build healthy habits that help support brain health. Visit stayingsharp.org/health.
To all the HBCU students making moves, listen up. For over 20 years, McDonald's has been at the side of college hopefuls, And with over $1 million in funding this year through the Black and Positively Golden Scholarship, Mickey D's is helping HBCU students rise and flourish into their graduating roles. This scholarship season, get ready to take your place when you apply for a McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Scholarship. Visit mcdblackscholars.com to apply now. Applications close on April 25th, 2025.
Why wait for luxury when you can live it now? Meet the Buick Envista. Advanced safety, intuitive technology, and style that turns heads. Don't just drive, arrive. Visit Buick.com to learn more about the Envista.
30-year-old Natasha Gibbs was building a life she loved in spite of the hardship she'd suffered.
She suffered and she came through all of it, still herself.
She was a fighter.
But now, police have found Natasha shot to death outside her North Memphis home, alongside a man named Iziel Jones.
Iziel was the best friend of Natasha's older brother, Corey Evans, who'd also been killed in a shooting just 6 months earlier.
Iziel had been a part of Natasha's family since they were children.
He actually stayed with us until he got older.
He just migrated into the family.
Iziel was her god brother. For Tasha, this was a man who was a protector for her. Anytime anything went wrong, he was the one that she called on. He made her feel secure.
While Natasha's mother-in-law begins contacting the rest of the family to let them know what's happened, homicide detectives arrive and start to search the scene for clues.
We look for any type of evidence such as footprints, casings, blood trajectory.
There were no bullet casings found at the scene, suggesting the murder weapon was likely a revolver.
One of the first things detectives notice is the placement of the bodies.
Natasha was at the porch. Iziel was in the street. Was this an argument that came from inside to outside, or was someone outside waiting for them?
Judging by the trajectory of the bullets, detectives suspect the shooter was in the street when they opened fire, which raises another possibility.
Memphis is known for drive-by shootings. It is a place you need to be wary in.
Gangs are still large and prevalent over in the Raleigh-Frazier area.
You don't go over there at nighttime. It is a very crime-ridden area.
But the severity of their injuries suggests they were targeted.
Natasha had only been shot once, but Iziel was hit multiple times.
But that's not the worst of his injuries.
Not only was he shot, he was run over.
It was overkill. Maybe Iziel was the primary target, and Natasha was just collateral damage.
To find out more, detectives start by talking to her next-door neighbor, who'd been watching the scene since they'd arrived.
Detectives want to talk to neighbors and get an idea of what happened.
I was inside my house watching TV. Looked out my window. I just wanted to see what was going on.
She'd seen an SUV peeling out into the street in front of Natasha's house.
And what time was this?
11:15.
She's also able to fill the detectives in on some of the details of Natasha's life.
She didn't know Iziel, but she and Natasha were friends.
Can you tell us who all lives in the house?
Yeah, I can. It was Natasha, her 2 little nephews, and her husband, Marquise.
Marquise was not on the scene, and officers were wondering if Marquise was another victim that we had to locate or a suspect.
But before they can go looking for Natasha's husband, the rest of her family begins to show up at the scene.
I get down there, everything was blocked off. They told me the girl had got shot down there. I said, what you mean I got shot?
All I can tell you is there's 2 victims, okay? All right, there's been a shooting. Who's that?
They wouldn't let us get close to the house. Marquise's mom, she was there. They wouldn't let her out. The baby cousins, they wouldn't let them out.
Then, amid the chaos, Natasha's father spots something that stops him in his tracks.
I see my daughter laying on the porch.
You can kind of see that they did have her covered.
They wouldn't let me go up there. Tell my baby girl, well, to leave me like that, it just hurt me.
The news of Izeal's death is just as devastating.
I did consider him family because he would always be around.
Isaiah was like my brother.
This is a moment that no one could have imagined happening. And at that moment, no one knew who could have done this.
It's a tragedy. It's just incomprehensible.
When detectives speak to Natasha's father, he says his daughter had gotten together with Izeal that night to plan a party.
They was having a birthday party for my brother who recently got killed 6 months before her.
We were gonna have like a little celebration for him, celebration of life for him.
The last time you saw your daughter, sir, did everything seem normal?
Honestly, it seems like something was bothering her.
The day it happened, she was feeling real kind of down and out, and I didn't know what was wrong with her.
He said she was not really being herself. She was kind of standoffish.
Natasha, what's wrong with you? She wouldn't talk to me.
You don't have any idea what the problem was? No, I think it may have had something to do with the divorce.
Natasha's father tells detectives his daughter is going through an ugly divorce.
Marquise and Natasha were breaking up.
They arguing had gotten intense.
Marquise had moved out of the home.
Stay with us as we delve deeper into the mystery. Don't miss what lies ahead. This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
In the wake of a double homicide in North Memphis, Tennessee, detectives are working quickly to identify a suspect.
When the Memphis Police Department first got to that crime scene, there wasn't a lot of evidence.
You still have a lot of gang violence in that area.
We have to keep all avenues open.
But now, the father of one of the victims, Natasha Gibbs, has told police that his daughter was in the process of separating from her husband, Marquise.
They were doing a lot of arguing. Plus, man, y'all can't get along. I want y'all to just go your separate ways.
They had agreed upon a consensual separation.
She was telling me he was supposed to be getting his stuff, he was supposed to be leaving.
However, Natasha's father is adamant that Marquise isn't capable of doing anything like this.
I never thought in the world that Marquise would do some crazy stuff. He was a respectable guy. I really trusted him a whole lot.
I just couldn't see that he would do something to hurt her in no type of way.
But detectives aren't as confident.
The number one suspect is going to be the spouse. That's who they look at first.
So first thing the next morning, they contact Marquise, who willingly comes down to the station for an interview.
They want to get more information about him, his whereabouts, who he was.
Thank you for coming and talking to us, Mr. Gibbs.
We just have a few questions.
I just can't believe this. And that's my wife, man.
He seemed genuinely upset. He said even with everything going on between them, of course he still had feelings for Natasha.
He's more than cooperative. He's giving as much information as possible.
He said he grew up around Izeal too. They were like brothers.
When police ask Marquise where he was the night before, he's quick to offer an alibi.
Yeah, I've been staying with a friend in Whitehaven since we split up.
Is that where you were last night?
Yeah.
He said they stayed up late playing video games and went to bed around midnight. And if that's true, there's no way he could have committed this crime.
However, he may have another starting point for the detectives.
He told them they should look into Izeal's past and criminal connections.
Now, Izeal, he's been getting in trouble ever since I've known him.
What sort of trouble?
Guns, drugs, you name it. If this was gang affiliated, if this was a retaliation, a crime, or a hit, you have to check those boxes.
But before they wrap up their conversation, Marquise has one more tip for detectives.
I don't know if this is anything, but I'm pretty sure Tasha was seeing other guys.
He said he'd seen posts on her social media that indicated Natasha may have been talking to other men.
If that's the case, it opened up a whole new slew of suspects for the detectives.
I appreciate you coming down.
After the interview, detectives get to work following up on Marquise's claims.
Their first call was to a friend he had been staying with. He confirmed that Marquise was with him. So essentially, he ruled them out.
Next, detectives file subpoenas for Natasha's phone records.
They wanted to get a better look at her personal life, see who she had talked to, and if she was possibly dating someone new.
They were planning to get a little bit more information to find out where she was in her head, what was going on.
While they wait for the records to come in, detectives start digging into Izeal's past.
They are thinking Izeal Jones may have had something come from his past because not only was he shot, he was run over.
A background check reveals that Marquise wasn't lying about Izeal's criminal history.
Well, Izeal had a rap sheet a mile long. Drugs, robbery, weapons. He spent years of his life behind bars.
But what stands out most to detectives is a case that Izeal didn't serve time for.
Years earlier, Izeal was investigated in connection to a gang-related murder in South Memphis.
The case file showed that Izeal went with a group of men to get revenge on someone who had shot at them, and it turned into a shootout at an apartment complex parking lot.
The shooters and their target all managed to escape unharmed, but they left a tragedy in their wake.
A stray bullet killed an 11-year-old boy who was playing on a playground nearby.
However, in the aftermath of the shooting, Izeal Jones went straight to the police.
He was like, look, I was just with these guys. I didn't know what was getting ready to go on, and I didn't shoot anybody.
Izeal was never charged, and his cooperation helped bring 3 other suspects to justice.
Each of the shooters was found guilty, and for Izeal, it was a wake-up call. But had it left a target on his back?
Obviously, you have to look at Izeal's background to see if there's a connection or if this was gang-affiliated. Was it retaliation?
Vengeance has a way of messing with a lot of people.
But detectives quickly run into a roadblock.
All the men who were convicted in that shooting were still in prison, so there's no way that they could have killed Izeal themselves.
They also pulled copies of the convicts' recent communications, but there was no evidence that they had recruited anybody from the outside to take revenge.
Detectives are no closer to identifying a suspect.
It was a dead end.
At that point, they didn't have any other suspects on their radar.
But that all changes when they receive an unexpected call.
A man contacted detectives saying he had information about the murder. He wouldn't give his name, but he told them Natasha was keeping a secret.
Marquise was right.
She's been flirting with other people.
But the caller claims that one of Natasha's relationships had gotten serious.
The question remains, who is this man?
Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction podcast.
Aging is inevitable, but that doesn't mean you have to give up the activities you enjoy. This holiday season, talk with your family members about ways everyone can build healthy habits that help support brain health. Visit stayingsharp.org/health.
To all the HBCU students making moves, listen up. For over 20 years, McDonald's has been at the side of college hopefuls. And with over $1 million in funding this year through the Black and Positively Golden Scholarship, Mickey D's is helping HBCU students rise and flourish into their graduating roles. This scholarship season, get ready to take your place when you apply for a McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Scholarship. Visit mcdblackscholars.com to apply now. Applications close on April 25th, 2025.
Why wait for luxury when you can live it now? Meet the Buick Envista. Advanced safety, intuitive technology, and style that turns heads. Don't just drive, arrive. Visit Buick.com to learn more about the Envista.
After the investigation into the murders of Natasha Gibbs and Izeal Jones had come to a standstill, Memphis detectives have just gotten a new lead from an anonymous caller.
Natasha had been flirting with other people, so they're not sure if this could have been a crime of passion.
But the caller can't or won't give them a name.
He claimed he didn't know a whole lot about the boyfriend.
People do be reluctant to get involved in police issues. You know, they have the saying, snitches get stitches.
He said that all he knows is that on the streets, the guy went by the nickname of Ace.
Thank you.
It isn't much for the investigators to work with.
They go in and they try to get more information pinpointing this young man.
But in a city like Memphis, it's a needle in a haystack.
We're centrally located. You got Arkansas, you got Mississippi, you got Missouri, you got Kentucky, you got Georgia, you got all these different places that touch Memphis.
But detectives are hopeful when Natasha's phone records come in.
They looked through her recent calls and texts, and they realized nobody unusual was listed there. Nobody named Ace.
So they reach out to her family.
We did not know his role. There's always the option that they're either a suspect or a witness.
They start asking questions of the family, trying to get a little bit more information.
But none of them recognizes the name Ace either.
They said if she was seeing anyone, they didn't know about it.
And according to her sister Sharonda, Natasha may have been nervous to start dating with Marquise still in the picture.
When the police spoke to Natasha's father, he didn't know the issues that was going on with his daughter's marriage. But Natasha's sister gave them a clear picture of what was really going on.
He didn't like her hanging out with anybody without him there.
He was jealous, very jealous at what she was doing, who she was speaking to.
He was just that jealous type of person. Around certain people, he don't show it, but the people that be around all the time, they saw it.
But Sharonda says it hadn't always been that way.
In the beginning, they had the perfect marriage.
To be honest, I was jealous of what they had going on.
It was passion, it was emotion.
They loved each other.
But over time, stress and bitterness started to take a toll.
After Natasha's sister died and they took in her nephews, they were under a lot of pressure.
Once someone goes through all of these traumas, the family is never the same.
When you do not allow yourself to deal with whatever you're dealing with, it's going to deal with you.
And it started to bring out a different side of Natasha's husband.
They would have arguments.
Marquise started drinking, that's when the skeleton come out the closet.
What sort of things were they fighting about?
Just how controlling he was. He was always taking her phone and looking at her social media.
For the investigators, it's a story they've heard many times before.
Social media is one big thing that brings down a lot of relationships.
When we go looking for things or we stalk their social media pages, it helps create a narrative in our minds that might not even be real.
Eventually, Marquise started openly accusing Natasha of cheating on him.
Put hearts on people pictures?
That's my friend from high school. Why are you going through my phone?
Friend from high school? I don't care who it is. Why are you putting hearts under his picture?
He was accusing her of a guy that she used to date way back in the days.
It didn't even make sense because that guy was doing time.
He has life in jail, so I don't, know how that would even work out.
And the arguments only escalated.
Every couple is gonna have a disagreement, but he was threatening her.
I got something.
Why are you going through my stuff?
I got something for you.
He busted all her windows out her car. And that really made my antennas go all the way up.
Had Marquise's jealous rage driven him to commit murder?
Something was going on in their relationship, and things weren't right.
Natasha just was not acting like herself.
It's like my sister was tired.
Never mind having children, never mind trying to build this relationship. When it's not good, it's time to go.
With her family's support, Natasha finally asked Marquise to leave.
She told him she was done with him, and he ended up moving out.
But while Natasha was trying to move on, Marquise refused to accept that their marriage was over.
He's trying to get back together.
He had been calling her and showing up at the house unannounced.
Still, her family wasn't convinced Marquise could be responsible. Until her sister saw a shocking post on Natasha's social media.
I was on Facebook just scrolling, and my sister had just made a post on Facebook days before.
What Natasha wrote sent a chill down her spine.
She said, if something happened to me, my husband did it.
Stay tuned as this tragic story continues to unfold. This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Aging is inevitable, but that doesn't mean you have to give up the activities you enjoy. This holiday season, talk with your family members about ways everyone can build healthy habits that help support brain health. Visit stayingsharp.org/health.
To all the HBCU students making moves, listen up. For over 20 years, McDonald's has been at the side of college hopefuls. And with over $1 million in funding this year through the Black and Positively Golden Scholarship, Mickey D's is helping HBCU students rise and flourish into their graduating roles. This scholarship season, get ready to take your place when you apply for a McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Scholarship. Visit mcdblackscholars.com to apply now. Applications close on April 25th, 2025.
Why wait for luxury when you can live it now? Meet the Buick Envista. Advanced safety, intuitive technology, and style that turns heads. Don't just drive, arrive. Visit Buick.com to learn more about the Envista.
Detectives have just learned that in the months before she was killed, Natasha Gibbs' relationship with her husband Marquise had devolved into hatred and jealousy.
He started accusing her of sleeping with other men.
He broke the windows out of that car.
Detectives had crossed Marquise's name off their suspect list early in the investigation. But now they're not so sure after hearing about a recent social media post made by Natasha.
It said if something happens to me, my husband did it.
Can you send that to us?
Yeah, of course.
All right, Sharonda, thank you. We'll be in touch.
Thank you.
They're beginning to put pieces together, and they're realizing that the culprit could have been Marquise after all.
They become even more convinced when they try to bring Marquise in for a second round of questioning.
They're trying to reach him. They're trying to call him.
Marquise wasn't answering his phone.
Now it's a question about his whereabouts. Where could he be?
Detectives decide to head to the address where Marquise had been staying with his friend.
Marquise wasn't there, but they did get to speak to the friend that he had been living with. And he was a little less than forthcoming.
I haven't seen him since yesterday.
You don't have any idea where he's at?
Nope.
It's a case of, I'm not going to get involved with that. Mind your own business.
Do you realize you'd be charged?
But when the detectives threaten him with the charge of accessory to murder, Marquise's friend starts to change his attitude.
All right, look. Honestly, I don't know where he's at. Some of that stuff I told you earlier, it's not true.
What stuff are you talking about?
Now, before, when the cops contacted the roommate, he had told them that Marquise had been with him all night the night of the murder.
Now, he says that was a lie.
Look, he got here at like 1 o'clock, maybe 2 in the morning. And he told me that if anybody asks, just cover for him.
That completely blew Marquise's alibi. That meant that he didn't get home until hours after the shooting.
Detectives are certain Marquise is the suspect they've been looking for.
You start to kind of put all of these little pieces to the puzzle together, and ultimately they put that puzzle together pretty quickly.
But there's one more obstacle standing in their way.
They couldn't locate him.
Memphis police devote numerous resources to tracking Marquise down.
Technology is really a game changer. You're tracking credit cards, tracking cell phones, cell towers.
Detectives tried tracking his phone, but it had been turned off the day after the shooting.
Where could he be? There's a greater possibility that he could be on the run.
You had a killer on the loose who was believed to be armed and dangerous.
And detectives missed their opportunity to catch Natasha's killer.
You could travel anywhere in the continental United States on a relatively short period of time from Memphis because it's so centrally located.
We don't know. You try to go to Canada or what the plan was.
But it's not long before detectives catch the break they've been waiting for.
Detective Martin.
Police in Milwaukee contacts the police to let them know that Marquise is there.
A hotel manager was trying to have a man thrown out because he had been causing disturbances. And when the police arrived, they ran a check on the guest's name.
That's when they saw he was wanted in Tennessee.
Thank you very much.
The Milwaukee police react immediately.
Armed officers quickly descend on the hotel where Marquise is staying.
They not only have the police, they also have the FBI that are involved. They have their tactical squad that becomes involved as well.
And when the moment is right, they make their move.
They made their presence known. There was a standoff for like 20 minutes before Marquise realized there was no way out, and he finally turned himself in.
When the arrest is broadcast on the news, it's a moment of celebration for Natasha and Izeal's loved ones.
We saw it on TV. We were watching on TV once they got him caught.
I was extremely happy, relieved at that point.
Once they have him in custody, he is extradited straight to Memphis.
But when detectives sit down to interrogate Marquise, it doesn't go as expected.
Marquise explains to the police that his intention was not to go to the house to hurt anyone.
He said it was Izeal that started shooting.
He was trying to plead self-defense.
Don't miss what lies ahead. This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
After police discovered him in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Marquise Gibbs has been arrested for the murders of his wife, Natasha, and her godbrother, Izeal Jones.
Them catching him, it was a relief.
As Marquise is being brought back into Memphis, police began to question some of his motives, the purpose of why any of this may have happened.
And now under interrogation, Marquise has confessed to firing the fatal shots. But he claims the shooting wasn't murder. It was self-defense.
He tells police that there was no intention of killing anyone or hurting anyone by any means. He went over there to work things out.
Man, I know he ain't here.
I just want to talk to my wife, that's it.
But when he arrived, Marquise says Izeal was there with Natasha.
You got all in my face telling me I can't see my own wife?
The argument quickly got out of hand.
Man, she don't want you here. She don't want you in her life.
I don't care if she don't want me here. I don't care.
According to Marquise, Izeal was the first to draw a weapon.
As he confronted him about everything that was going on, Izeal pulls out a gun.
Whoa, man, what are you doing? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
He too pulls out a gun because he's trying to protect himself.
When Izeal opened fire, Marquise shot back.
Izeal basically ends up shooting, and he ducks and he tries to hit Izeal.
But in the process, he hit Natasha.
I never meant to hurt Natasha. I never wanted any of this.
He said Izeal was the one who started the gunfight. Izeal was the one to blame.
He said he's protecting himself. That's how Izeal gets shot, as well as his wife.
After the dust had settled, Marquise says he panicked.
He thought I done something wrong and they are coming for me. That's why he fled.
He stated that he left because he knew that nobody would believe him.
But detectives know he's still lying.
The police lets him know that they know better.
Both of those killings involve gunshot wounds to the back of the head. So that would indicate that it wasn't any type of self-defense involved.
There's also no evidence Izeal ever fired a weapon.
There would have been other bullets. There would have been another gun.
His lies couldn't hold up because of the evidence.
At this point, Marquise backs up and he says he wants a lawyer.
Even without a full confession from their suspect, detectives now believe they have a clear picture of what really happened that night.
Marquise was upset about the state of his marriage. He was upset that Natasha was talking to other guys.
All of that rage and anger and feeling as if he's been played or being used had built up inside him.
And when he saw Izeal with Natasha, it pushed Marquise to his breaking point.
He doesn't feel comfortable in the idea that there's another man who's making my wife comfortable and protecting her from me.
He perceived that in his twisted mind as evidence they must be going together.
The jealousy, the anger, the rage, the love, those feelings and emotions erupt into a situation where it became fatal.
He snapped.
Hey, man, what you doing with my wife, man?
We just hanging out, man. We just chilling.
Izeal tried to talk Marquise off the ledge, but he refused to back down.
Marquise just exploded.
He was in the grip of rage.
He shot Izeal in the head. Then he shot Natasha.
After he did what he did, he jumped in his vehicle and ran over Mr. Jones' lifeless body that was laying in the street.
Stand up.
Charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, Marquise Gibbs now faces the possibility of spending the rest of his life in prison.
He had already admitted to shooting Izeal and Natasha, so there was only one question the jury had to consider: whether or not it was self-defense.
With so much evidence stacked against him, Marquise doesn't like his chances.
This was not just some spontaneous act. The fact that he did bring his weapon with him, and for him to flee the state like that is an indication that he knew what he had done was wrong, was dead wrong. There's nothing that would exonerate or excuse his actions on that day.
So in the end, he decides to cut a deal.
The prosecutors agreed to reduce the charges to second-degree murder.
Mr. Gibbs received a plea bargain that involved him being sentenced to 35 years in the penitentiary.
For the families of his victims, it's not long enough.
I was in court the day it happened. I looked at him, he wouldn't say nothing. He told his family that he was sorry for what they put us to, but we wasn't good with that at all.
To this day, I'm not happy with him being in jail. I want to see him in the grave.
But no matter what happens to Marquise, nothing can reverse the damage he's already done.
He should never be able to walk the face of earth ever again. Not only did he take her, he took her soul, he took her spirit, he took her everything.
Tasha was a blessing to everybody. That was a part of my heart. I miss her very much.
In today's world, especially in the age of social media, our perception of reality has changed significantly. It is essential to remember that true partnerships and love should not hurt. Tragically, Natasha Gibbs, a beloved aunt, daughter, family member, and friend, was taken from us far too soon. This painful loss serves as a stark reminder that the illusions portrayed on social media are just that, illusions. And violence is never the answer. The warmth of Natasha's spirit will be missed by all whose lives she touched, serving as a constant reminder of the love and joy she shared so freely. Coming up on the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
They were living the American dream.
It was all about family.
They wanted to provide a loving home.
They would have fun. They all looked happy.
Until a terrible crime plunged them into a nightmare.
There's like blood everywhere.
That is something that I'll never forget.
I'm still in shock.
In Deltona, Florida, a quiet, peaceful community is shaken by a frantic call from a roommate to the police, changing lives in an instant. How can life shift so dramatically when you seem to be living the American dream? Tune in to the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast. We will see you in the next episode. At just 27, a resilient and devoted mother navigates the delicate balance of life with unwavering dedication. Despite the challenges she faces, she works hard to overcome them for her children. However, just as good things begin to happen, tragedy strikes unexpectedly. Her family and friends are determined to uncover the truth about what happened to their loved one on that fateful day in Kansas City, Missouri. What happens when love becomes fatal? This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast with Heartland Homicide.
July 28th, 2018. It's early Saturday morning in Kansas City, Missouri, the Show Me State's largest city.
It's really thriving downtown, so it's a fun place to live. It's a fun place to work.
It's a great place to raise your family.
Kansas City is known for being a good Midwest city. It's in the middle of the map. It's the heartland.
But even the heartland of America has its fair share of crime.
We have, unfortunately, a large number of homicides within the city.
Look. And in the pre-dawn hours that morning, the grim tally goes up again.
Somebody. What happened?
911 received a frantic call from a woman. Somebody please hurry!
A young woman was found in the yard of her grandmother's house.
When police respond, they find a grieving family gathered outside the house.
There was a young woman laid out on the grass, and she was covered in blood.
Guys, go ahead and step back for a minute. Let my partner work on her, okay?
Do you know her? This is your niece?
I can only imagine the fear, the trauma that immediately set in when you see your loved one laid down on the ground.
What happened and how long she'd been there isn't clear.
A family member had found her lying motionless in the yard, moments before the 911 call came in.
Andrew came in there and said he found her out in the front yard.
She had stab wounds all over her body, from her head to her neck, her chest, her stomach, her arms.
Ear suction in the chest.
But when the EMTs check for vital signs, it's clear the victim is already gone.
Unfortunately, as much as they tried, there was nothing that they could do.
What happened? What happened? We don't know. We don't know.
All anyone knows for sure is the identity of the victim.
What's her name?
Andrea Vine.
Life had been a series of challenges for 27-year-old DeAndrea Vine.
DeAndrea had some struggles that she had to deal with.
From childhood, DeAndrea had suffered from epilepsy and associated learning disabilities.
Having a learning disability and a chronic illness like epilepsy can be damaging to self-esteem.
Epilepsy or with any type of cognitive delays can make it very hard to function in a school setting.
She was in special education classes.
She did not let that stop her. She was a very determined soul.
But there was one part of her life where DeAndrea didn't struggle.
DeAndrea was quite popular in school. She had a lot of friends, got a lot of attention.
And soon after high school, she attracted a different kind of attention.
At 18, DeAndrea met a man who she developed a long-term relationship with.
His name was Marcus Williams.
How you doing?
When you're young, you're excited to know that you have someone that likes you.
You have a young lady dealing with the difficulties of feeling different, and now you have a young man expressing interest in her.
DeAndrea felt like when Marcus is different, it gives me hope. It reminds me that I'm safe and everything is better.
Over the next few years, what started as a teenage crush turned into a family.
They had 4 children together, and they were happy and making things work.
She was loving her kids, and he helped with the kids as well.
She was always trying to do the right thing and always trying to be a good mother.
But love couldn't overcome all the problems DeAndrea faced.
Well, motherhood, you don't always get it right. It's very, very challenging.
Eventually, DeAndrea's children were taken into foster care by the state.
A doctor alerted Child Protective Services because he suspected Marcus may have physically abused one of the children.
DeAndrea couldn't believe it.
They made her mad and frustrated.
DeAndrea was adamant that Marcus would never hurt her children.
They didn't even determine he actually did it. So they just had him go to anger management classes.
Getting their kids back would be an even greater ordeal.
And having to have this interaction with children's services, I would imagine that posed as a difficult time for her.
For any mother, losing your children is not easy. It's not something that you've ever planned for.
Worse was to come.
In 2017, worn down by the custody struggles and his battle over the abuse allegations, Marcus committed suicide.
I can only imagine how DeAndrea felt now that she doesn't have her children living with her and the love of her life has taken his own life.
But she wasn't alone.
She had a very strong family support group who were very lovely individuals.
With her family's tireless support, DeAndrea managed to get her children out of foster care.
We had to go through a lot of, allegations and everything to get them back.
And she wasn't going to let anything stop her from rebuilding her family.
DeAndrea took a job at Walmart, which was very difficult for her with the epilepsy, but she was determined to get things back on track and to provide for her family.
She's a fighter. It takes a strong woman to be able to have these learning disabilities, health issues, be able to get up and go to work every day, to provide for yourself and show the courts that you are capable of being able to take care of your children.
But now, a year after Marcus's suicide, DeAndrea's family has called 911 after finding her bloody body in the yard outside her grandmother's house.
She was lying on the ground, wrapped in a blanket, bleeding from multiple stab wounds.
But when EMTs remove the blanket, they uncover a possible motive for the crime.
They discovered that DeAndrea's underwear was missing.
This could have been a sexual assault.
Stay tuned for more of this heart-wrenching story as we uncover the chilling details of what unfolded during this tragic event. This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Aging is inevitable, but that doesn't mean you have to give up the activities you enjoy. This holiday season, talk with your family members about ways everyone can build healthy habits that help support brain health. Visit stayingsharp.org/health.
To all the HBCU students making moves, listen up. For over 20 years, McDonald's has been at the side of college hopefuls. And with over $1 million in funding this year through the Black and Positively Golden Scholarship, Mickey D's is helping HBCU students rise and flourish into their graduating roles. This scholarship season, get ready to take your place when you apply for a McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Scholarship. Visit mcdblackscholars.com to apply now. Applications close on April 25th, 2025.
Hey, what's up? This is Alfreda's with the Urban One Podcast Network. Let me introduce you to today's sponsor, Chamberlain University. There's a pattern among successful people in any industry. They surround themselves with the right support. And in healthcare, that support starts at Chamberlain University. For over 130 years, Chamberlain has been helping nurses and healthcare professionals fulfill their calling. It's the largest nursing school in the country, offering flexible learning, real mentorship, and a network of over 160,000 professionals. Because progress isn't just about working harder. It's about having the right people in your corner. You got this, and Chamberlain has got you. Get started at chamberlain.edu.Chamberlain University. Belong to something greater. Certified to operate by Chev.
A year after the father of her 4 children committed suicide, 27-year-old DeAndrea Vine was rebuilding her life.
With help from her mother and grandmother, DeAndrea was able to get her children out of foster care and back with her family.
She went and obtained a job at Walmart, which, given her epilepsy, could present as a difficult thing to do. But she took the challenge head on.
She continued to move forward with her life after all the tragedy that she had experienced.
But now DeAndrea's children have suffered another tragic loss.
Early that morning, DeAndrea's cousin found her bloody body lying in the grass in front of her grandmother's house.
Hey guys, go ahead and step back for a minute. Let my partner work on her, okay? She was stabbed multiple times all over her body. Her face, her neck, her chest, her stomach, her arms.
And that may not have been the only horror she suffered.
DeAndrea was found with no pants and no underwear on, which led them to believe that she was sexually assaulted.
While it will take an autopsy to determine if that's the case, detectives arrive and are able to determine where the deadly attack began.
There was a trail of blood leading from the front yard all the way to a white van that was parked outside of the house.
There was a large amount of blood on the driveway just outside of the passenger side.
When detectives checked inside the minivan, they found that it was covered in blood.
They also find her cell phone in the van, and there's a receipt on the floorboard.
The receipt contains what appears to be an important clue.
Oh, we got a shoe print.
On this receipt was a blood-stamped shoe print. It was a big clue for detectives because she wasn't wearing shoes.
And it wasn't just any shoe print either.
It was the Vans brand of shoe, which has a very distinct print on the bottom.
Looking to narrow things down even further, detectives turn to DeAndrea's family.
Ms. Vine lived with her children and some of her other family members in the home where this occurred.
So sorry about your loss this evening. Why don't you tell me what happened?
Most of the family members at the scene were either too young or too distraught to interview.
However, DeAndrea's uncle does have some useful information for detectives.
Her uncle arrived home around 1 a.m. and he actually seen DeAndrea outside talking to a younger male.
She was sitting right here in the shed with some of her blood, something with her backpack on. I remember that.
Okay. But he said when he parked the car and walked up to the house, this man was gone. He disappeared already.
He told them he never really got a good look at him.
All he can say for sure is that he was young and wearing a backpack.
When you say young, are we talking like young or like?
I didn't know. I'm talking about young, like
18, teenage.
DeAndrea's uncle says he assumed the young man was a friend of his niece's.
Hey, how you doing, niece?
Hey,
He did speak with DeAndrea and everything seemed fine.
You okay?
Yeah.
Everything all right? Okay.
He didn't think anything of it, nothing suspicious, and he went inside to go to sleep.
Until 3 hours later, when DeAndrea's cousin burst into their grandmother's house.
My brother's kid, he came in at 4 o'clock that morning, and he said he seen her out there, blood everywhere.
However, when the detectives asked who might have wanted to harm DeAndrea, her family members had no idea.
Is there anyone that you can think of that she's having any arguments or beef with right now? No?
All right.
Thank you guys for your cooperation.
After talking to the family, the detectives fan out across the neighborhood, looking for possible witnesses.
They go door to door on a mission to find out what happens to DeAndrea.
One neighbor does describe something unusual.
There was a woman across the street that happened to see a man driving, and he stopped and asked her, "Hey, did you order an Uber?"
Hey, excuse me. Did you order an Uber?
No, I didn't.
She explained to the Uber driver that she hadn't requested a ride, and he drove off.
Okay, do you know what time that was?
That was at 1:48.
Then, as she was heading inside, she heard a commotion across the street.
They're arguing and fighting. It sounds kind of serious. So I was like, okay, well, let me listen a little bit just because I'm nosy too. So I'm listening and I hear a girl, she sounded like she was saying, okay, I'm sorry, stop, I won't do it again. So that's when I was like, are you okay?
Hey, is everything okay over there?
She had actually called out to see if somebody needed help, and then she didn't hear anything else.
But she says she never saw DeAndrea lying in the grass, covered in blood.
There were several cars parked on the street in front of the residence, which was obscuring her view of the body.
But the neighbor says she did see someone.
A gentleman walked to the side of the van, and he got like a bag or something out of the van.
What kind of bag? Like a backpack or a...
I know it wasn't like a Walmart bag or a trash bag, but it was a bag.
She didn't have a lot of details that she could give detectives about who the person was.
As far as like making out his facial features and stuff, I didn't really get a very good look at him.
Okay.
I could tell he was black.
Did you see maybe how old he looked?
No older than 25.
Detectives suspect this was the same person DeAndrea had been talking to earlier that night.
Her uncle had already told detectives that the person she had been speaking with was wearing a backpack and appeared to be pretty young.
But it's not until DeAndrea's sister arrives at the scene that they get their first clue to his identity.
She was telling me about this guy she worked with.
There was this guy at Walmart that was flirting with DeAndrea.
In fact, DeAndrea's sister thought that they had done more than just flirt.
Do you know his name? No, I just thought he was really young.
After family members found DeAndrea Vine stabbed to death in her grandmother's front yard, her sister has given detectives a clue to the identity of the man she was seen with earlier that evening.
DeAndrea's sister informs them that DeAndrea may have been talking or messing around with a young person at work.
That gave detectives something to work with as far as who this individual she was speaking to might be.
Do you know his name? No, I just thought he was really young. So were they like dating or just kind of flirting at work?
Maybe just messing around?
I'm not really sure what they were doing.
Her sister didn't know much about the dynamic of the relationship.
But she does know that DeAndrea enjoyed the attention.
I would imagine it would be very difficult being a single mother raising 4 children, maybe not much time for dating. And so it would feel great to have someone show interest.
Aren't you supposed to be in the stock room?
Yeah, but I just came to say hi.
It probably just made her feel like the most special woman in this world.
However, according to her sister, there was one big drawback to DeAndrea's new suitor.
Her sister stated that he was only 17.
So there's a chance it was just flirting? I just know she had a problem with it.
He's not 18 yet, and she is 27. There could be legal repercussions.
If DeAndrea had rejected the teenager, could that have led to a deadly attack?
The police suspected that she'd been sexually assaulted, so there was a possible scenario where the coworker had forced himself on DeAndrea, and the violence escalated when she fought back.
There were a large number of stab wounds, which is usually indicative of someone who knows their attacker. There's usually some sort of a relationship to garner that much rage.
The morning after DeAndrea's murder, the detectives attempt to track down her would-be boyfriend.
Detectives head to Walmart to find out who this 17-year-old is.
While talking to DeAndrea's manager, they learn that the young man is most likely 17-year-old Xavier McDowell.
The manager tells them that he actually sees DeAndrea and Xavier a lot in the break room.
And according to the manager, they weren't just hanging out.
Somebody's coming.
The supervisor said that they had to break them up from making out in the break room.
He would have to tell them, hey, you guys have to stop and go back to work.
Their behavior was inappropriate, but there were no indications of any sort of harassment going on.
It was just that she was engaged in sort of a workplace romance with this young man.
I'll give you his address.
With the relationship between Xavier and DeAndrea confirmed, investigators head to his parents' house to question him.
We're looking for Xavier McDowell. We just need to ask him a few questions about one of his co-workers.
Xavier?
Yes, sir. We need to ask you a few questions about DeAndrea Vine.
Sure. I heard about what happened, but I just can't believe it.
When they talked to Xavier, he seemed very sad, very affected by the news that she had passed away.
She was such a nice person.
During the interview, Xavier is upfront about his relationship with DeAndrea.
He did indicate that they had a sexual relationship, but there wasn't much other than that sexual relationship between the two of them.
So no plans for the future?
Nothing like that. We was just having fun, you know.
He called it a lust relationship. He said they had only been together 2 times.
They met up at a hotel.
Why a hotel?
She lived with her people, and we couldn't meet here. So.
Xavier lived with his mom, so his place was out too.
He informed detectives that the last time they had sex was about a month ago.
When was the last time you saw her?
It was yesterday at work.
He told detectives they had been on the same shift at Walmart the night before.
They didn't talk because things were so busy at work.
He was only able to wave hello to her.
What time did you get home from work?
10. My brother had picked me up.
Xavier told investigators that his brother had picked him up for work and that he had stayed in for the rest of the night.
And Mom, you can confirm that he was here all night?
No, I can't. I worked the graveyard shift and I didn't get in till 5 a.m. this morning.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
Was it possible he'd slipped out later that evening and went to see DeAndrea?
Detectives were aware that Xavier didn't drive, and he lived about 3 miles away from DeAndrea.
Detectives doubt that he walked.
However, one of DeAndrea's neighbors did tell detectives there was an Uber in the area around the time of the murder.
They needed to track down this Uber driver.
Detectives also need to see who DeAndrea had been in contact with on the night of her murder.
Detectives subpoena records for DeAndrea's cell phone.
Whether DeAndrea met up with Xavier or someone else that night, her phone records may show who she had talked to on the phone or exchanged text messages with before they got together.
But detectives are still working those leads when they're contacted by another of DeAndrea's co-workers.
Homicide.
The woman called police and told them that she had some potentially important information.
I don't know if it has anything to do with what happened, but she told me something.
Ms. Vine had communicated that she may be pregnant.
Stay with us as we continue to unravel what occurred that day in Kansas City, Missouri.
Aging is inevitable, but that doesn't mean you have to give up the activities you enjoy. This holiday season, talk with your family members about ways everyone can build healthy habits that help support brain health. Visit stayingsharp.org/health.
To all the HBCU students making moves, listen up. For over 20 years, McDonald's has been at the side of college hopefuls. And with over $1 million in funding this year through the Black and Positively Golden Scholarship, Mickey D's is helping HBCU students rise and flourish into their graduating roles. This scholarship season, get ready to take your place when you apply for a McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Scholarship. Visit mcdblackscholars.com to apply now. Applications close on April 25th, 2025.
Hey, what's up? This is Alfreda's with the Urban One Podcast Network. Let me introduce you to today's sponsor, Chamberlain University. There's a pattern among successful people in any industry. They surround themselves with the right support. And in healthcare, that support starts at Chamberlain University. For over 130 years, Chamberlain has been helping nurses and healthcare professionals fulfill their calling. It's the largest nursing school in the country, offering flexible learning, real mentorship, and a network of over 160,000 professionals. Because progress isn't just about working harder. It's about having the right people in your corner. You got this, and Chamberlain has got you. Get started at chamberlain.edu.Chamberlain University. Belong to something greater. Certified to operate by Chev.
Detectives investigating the brutal murder of DeAndrea Vine have learned that the 27-year-old may have been expecting her 5th child.
According to a coworker, DeAndrea had told her that she was pregnant.
The news takes detectives by surprise.
None of DeAndrea's family had said anything about her being pregnant.
Is she pregnant? You don't think so? Okay, I just want to make sure.
Of course, DeAndrea may have had her reasons for wanting to keep the pregnancy quiet.
Did she say who the father was?
No.
Detectives suspect the answer may be DeAndrea's 17-year-old coworker, Xavier McDowell.
Xavier admitted that DeAndre and him had been intimate with each other on 2 separate occasions.
So she didn't say it was Xavier's?
No. I kind of just assumed it was.
Associates from her workplace knew that she was involved in a romantic relationship with Xavier.
If he's the father, does that also mean that he's her killer?
He was only 17, so he might not have been happy about becoming a father.
Did DeAndrea ever talk about possibly ending the pregnancy?
No, but that wouldn't be like her either.
She was a mother of 4 who adored her children.
Detectives also have to consider the possibility that the baby wasn't Xavier's.
If DeAndrea had been hooking up with someone else, jealousy could come into play.
Maybe she was the victim of a love triangle.
Did DeAndrea ever talk about possibly seeing someone else?
As far as I know, it was only Xavier.
Love triangle or not, when detectives received DeAndrea's autopsy report, it's clear whoever killed her was enraged.
When investigators got the autopsy results from the medical examiner's office, the first thing that stood out was the sheer violence of the attack.
It was well over 30 stab wounds.
And that's only a fraction of the injuries cataloged by the medical examiner.
A stab wound is something that actually penetrates into the body. And then there's incise wounds, which are more of a superficial cut. And she had dozens of both on her body.
She also had defensive wounds to her hands and arms.
DeAndrea fought desperately with her attacker.
These type of stabbing cases, there's a lot of rage involved and just a lot of severe injury, which unfortunately make the victim's demise just so much more brutal.
And there is one more thing that the autopsy makes crystal clear.
She was not, in fact, pregnant.
It's potentially a bombshell piece of information.
Was DeAndrea simply mistaken when she told her coworker she was pregnant?
Perhaps more importantly for the investigation, what had she told Xavier?
For Xavier to have a motive, it wasn't necessary for her to actually be pregnant. He just needed to think she was.
When detectives received DeAndrea's phone records, they combed through call logs and text messages looking for the answer.
The records showed that Xavier did reach out to DeAndrea in hours before the murder.
They found several phone calls from Xavier to DeAndrea.
DeAndrea did not answer any of his calls.
The detectives have no way of knowing exactly why Xavier was calling DeAndrea, but their text messages give them a pretty good idea.
There were text messages where detectives saw that the two of them, just a few days before her death, discussed a possible pregnancy.
Xavier texted DeAndrea and said, "Oh my God, stop telling me that stuff.
Don't tell me you're pregnant."
Xavier was not happy.
Could he have been desperate enough to kill?
Stay tuned for more of the Fatal Attraction podcast.
Aging is inevitable, but that doesn't mean you have to give up the activities you enjoy. This holiday season, talk with your family members about ways everyone can build healthy habits that help support brain health. Visit stayingsharp.org/health.
To all the HBCU students making moves, listen up. For over 20 years, McDonald's has been at the side of college hopefuls. And with over $1 million in funding this year through the Black and Positively Golden Scholarship, Mickey D's is helping HBCU students rise and flourish into their graduating roles. This scholarship season, get ready to take your place when you apply for a McDonald's Black and Positively Golden Scholarship. Visit mcdblackscholars.com to apply now. Applications close on April 25th, 2025.
Hey, what's up? This is Alfreda's with the Urban One Podcast Network. Let me introduce you to today's sponsor, Chamberlain University. There's a pattern among successful people in any industry. They surround themselves with the right support. And in healthcare, that support starts at Chamberlain University. For over 130 years, Chamberlain has been helping nurses and healthcare professionals fulfill their calling. It's the largest nursing school in the country, offering flexible learning, real mentorship, and a network of over 160,000 professionals. Because progress isn't just about working harder. It's about having the right people in your corner. You got this, and Chamberlain has got you. Get started at chamberlain.edu.Chamberlain University. Belong to something greater. Certified to operate by Chev.
Detectives investigating the murder of DeAndrea Vine have learned that the mother of 4 wasn't pregnant. But it appears DeAndrea's co-worker turned lover, Xavier McDowell, didn't know that.
Based on the text messages between Xavier and DeAndrea, he was panicking about the prospect of becoming a father.
Being 17 and being told that you're getting ready to be a father, that has to be scary, especially if you're not in a place financially to support a family.
However, tying Xavier directly to the murder proves more difficult.
The pregnancy gave him a motive, but none of the eyewitnesses that night were able to give detectives more than a vague description.
One neighbor saw a man bend down, pick up a backpack, and then run off.
DeAndrea's uncle had also seen a young man with a backpack talking to DeAndrea on the porch.
Neither of the witnesses got a good look at the young man, but detectives suspect there may be a way to identify him.
According to DeAndrea's neighbor, there had been an Uber driver in the neighborhood at the time of the murder.
Excuse me, did you order an Uber?
No, I didn't.
The neighbor told police he'd been trying to locate the person who'd called the ride.
Now detectives are looking for the Uber driver to see if Xavier was a passenger.
It's important to put Xavier at the scene during the time of the murder.
Detectives contact the rideshare company and are eventually able to track down the driver who was in DeAndrea's neighborhood the night of the murder.
Hello?
He said that he was dispatched to that address around 1:30 that morning on Saturday.
But the rider wasn't there.
I didn't actually pick up anybody. Why is that? While I was waiting, I heard screaming. There's a woman screaming.
The driver says he never saw the woman, but he did see a man.
He said that he'd seen a man running away.
He ended up getting scared and left.
Did you see what this guy looked like? I don't know. It was dark. I didn't really get a good look at him.
What about the ride request? Was there a name on it?
Yeah, usually, but this time it just said X.
The rider had only used an initial for his Uber profile, and the card linked to the account was a prepaid debit card, so it didn't have a name on it either.
However, the driver does have some useful information for detectives.
The destination for the requested ride was Raytown South High School.
Raytown High School is really close to Xavier's house.
Okay, thank you.
But it still isn't enough to put Xavier at the crime scene.
So they went back to Walmart that went through hours and hours of surveillance footage of inside the store.
The surveillance footage captures both DeAndrea and Xavier at work, just a few hours before the murder.
Just as Xavier told the police, they didn't really interact on the video.
They did wave at each other.
But that isn't all the video shows.
Hold it. Go back.
But you see something?
Yeah, right there.
Xavier was wearing Vans.
That was the same type of shoe as the bloody footprint left on the receipt detectives found at the scene.
It was very clear that it was the same brand of shoes.
It's the extra piece of evidence the detectives need.
They proceed with an arrest warrant to take Xavier in.
When detectives sit down with Xavier, he agrees to make a statement.
He started out by repeating what he said to police in his first interview, that he and DeAndrea were just together for casual sex.
I wasn't really in love, and I knew it wasn't supposed to go any further.
But there was a complication, or so he thought.
She told me that I had got her pregnant.
Oh, she did?
Xavier said that DeAndrea told him about the pregnancy a few days before the murder.
Did you have any reason to not believe her, or?
No, because I know what I did, and I know I should have wore that condom.
Xavier also admits that he wasn't happy about the idea of being a father.
Did you want her to not have the baby?
Yeah, at first, but she wouldn't agree to anything like that, so I can't force someone to want to get rid of a baby.
Right.
Not that detectives believe him.
They started pressing Xavier about the night of the murder, but he was still sticking to his original story.
How are you guys talking?
Xavier reported that he came home from work at about 10 o'clock.
Okay, so you go straight there. And then you're there until you go to bed. You said midnight?
He denied going to her house that night.
It looks like you called her about 4 times between 12 and 1 a.m. Did you do that?
I did call her.
Right. Okay. Did you go over to her house that night? That's just not true, man. Ask yourself this. Would I be asking you if you went over there that night? Would you be sitting here if we didn't know that you went over there that night?
No.
Okay.
He then confesses that he was there that night.
Xavier said he went to DeAndrea's house that night only looking to hook up.
So you're going over there for your booty call. What time is that?
That was around 2 in the morning.
But there was one problem.
There were so many people at the house that they couldn't have any privacy inside.
She didn't want to wake her kids up or anybody, so we had sex in the backyard.
Okay. What else happened?
Then she went into the front, sat down where there's like chairs, and then I Ubered home.
Detectives know that's a lie.
We found the driver that you originally called and didn't get in the vehicle. He saw you running off, man. He heard the screams.
Sensing that they've backed Xavier into a corner, detectives keep up the pressure.
There's no way to get around this stuff, man. I'm telling you, there's just no way.
But that didn't stop Xavier from trying.
We didn't have sex in the back.
Okay.
We had sex in the car.
Which car?
The van.
He got in the passenger seat. DeAndrea got on top of him. They did have sexual intercourse.
But according to Xavier, while they were having sex, things took an unexpected turn.
She went crazy.
He said that she pulled out a knife and started to attack him.
She tried to kill me.
Stay tuned for more of this heart-wrenching story as we uncover the chilling details of what unfolded during this tragic event. This is the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Xavier McDowell has admitted that it was him in the minivan with DeAndrea Vine on the night she died. But he says he's no murderer.
Did you plan to go over there and kill her?
Didn't.
What were you planning to do? Just talk to her?
Sex.
He said that while they were having sex, she pulled out a knife.
I saw her lift up a knife.
You saw her lift a knife up while she's on top of you?
Yeah.
He says what happened next is mostly a blur.
He was able to grab the knife, but it was only reflex.
My hand went like this, and that's how it kind of cut a little bit.
Right.
But she didn't really get to cut me.
DeAndrea wasn't so lucky.
Xavier says that he, in self-defense, stabbed her in the neck.
But that wasn't the end of it.
He said that she started to swing at him with her fist.
She was screaming at me.
So he continued to stab her.
How many times did you stab her then?
I don't remember.
He said that she then exited the van.
And then she's on like the ground.
But DeAndrea's ordeal was far from over.
He said he had to stab her even more because she had to die.
You were scared of getting in trouble.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So that's why you killed her.
He had to make sure she was dead. That was his logic.
Then, according to Xavier, he'd gone back to the van and grabbed his backpack before returning to where DeAndrea lay bleeding in the grass.
Why'd you come back?
Because I didn't know if she was dead or not.
He then stabbed her a few more times to make sure she was actually dead.
Finally, sure that DeAndrea was dead, or at least dying, Xavier made his escape.
I hopped over fences. I ran.
Then he called another Uber for a ride home.
Once he got home, he was able to take off all of his clothes, clean himself up, and then burn his clothes outside in the backyard.
Xavier's story fits at least some of the evidence at the crime scene, but not all.
The physical evidence and the nature of the injury to Ms. Vine's body were not consistent with his version of what happened.
You went over there to stab her. That's exactly what it looks like.
You're not defending yourself. That's BS. We know that.
We know that that's not true.
A realization that sinks in once detectives step out of the interview room.
Lord, please help me. I'm hurt. My life is over. It's over. It's over. My life is over.
Xavier may be a killer, but he was also a scared 17-year-old kid.
And he's going to jail.
Our man, stand on up.
But Xavier will never stand trial.
Xavier agrees to plead guilty to second-degree murder. He actually admitted that he was the one that had the knife that night.
He said, I didn't tell the truth in the beginning. DeAndrea did not attack me. I actually attacked her.
Still, parts of Xavier's story were true.
He did go over there under the pretext of a booty call.
I think what really happened was they probably did engage in sex in the minivan.
But when it was over, Xavier confronted DeAndrea about the baby she claimed to be carrying.
DeAndrea really thought she was pregnant, and Xavier was scared to step into parenthood.
Listen, DeAndrea, we have to talk about this baby thing.
I already told you I'm not arguing about this anymore. He admitted that he was very angry about the pregnancy.
So angry that he became violent.
Xavier, stop!
He started stabbing her in the neck and throat area in the minivan. She was able to get out and try to escape.
But she didn't get far, and Xavier was right behind her.
No, Xavier, please!
Then suffered a large number of stab wounds, which would be consistent with somebody likely standing over top of her and stabbing her because he wanted to make sure that she was actually, in fact, dead.
Although at his sentencing hearing, when the judge asks Xavier if he has anything to say for himself, he doesn't keep silent.
He did express remorse at the sentencing hearing. I do think he was remorseful. He was very young when this happened.
Xavier will be far older when he finishes paying for what he'd done.
The judge sentences Xavier to 23 years in prison.
But is the sentence good enough?
This is a mother that was taken from her children. So is this justice? Absolutely not.
What's worse, DeAndrea's kids lost their mother just 1 year after their father's tragic suicide.
Which means that much like their mother, DeAndrea's children will face a lifetime of challenges.
You just have to feel so sorry for these children. My heart goes out to them.
I hope for her kids that they find some peace.
And that's just a void that family can never quite fill as hard as they try. And it's a huge loss.
I'm still trying to get through the storms. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where I'm ending up. But, I have faith.
The unexpected and senseless act that took the life of DeAndrea Vine has shattered the hearts of her loved ones. In the wake of such a brutal loss, those who knew her will remember DeAndrea not only for the challenges she overcame, but also for the unwavering love she devoted to her children. Although her life was tragically cut short, her resilience will continue to inspire those who knew her, and she will forever hold a cherished place in the hearts of her family and children. Coming up on the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast.
Her family was the center of her universe.
She always wanted to be together no matter what. Her biggest thing was to connect. She just had a good heart.
And she'd finally found the perfect man to share it with.
Tasha? Marquise. She absolutely loved him.
He was a good guy. They were like the perfect couple.
But when she's gunned down alongside a childhood friend, no one can make sense of the crime.
With magnetic charm, a vivacious personality, and remarkable talent, a 30-year-old Memphis, Tennessee woman's life changes in an instant, plunging her community into a whirlwind of grief and confusion as they search for answers. Tune in to the next episode of the Fatal Attraction Podcast. We will see you in the next episode.